Welcome to a new season of the Porsche Top 5 series. Today, it's all about the value, and we'll let the numbers talk. Please welcome Mr. Ted Gushue.
Welcome to Top 5. My name is Ted Gushue. We're here at Stuttgart's Schloss Solitude, looking at 5 of the most valuable Porsches of all time. Join me as we take a look at them, starting at the bottom, going to the top. The 1973 917-30, developed for the Can-Am Racing Series, 1,200 horsepower, air-cooled, 12-cylinder. That's 100 brake horsepower per cylinder. Described most recently by Porsche factory driver Patrick Long as excellent. It is one of those things that is so brawny and so manly to drive because there is not a single piece of computer-aided technology to keep you on the track. To my left, 200 liters of fuel. To my right, another 200 liters of fuel. That made this car a 1,200 horsepower 0 to 60 in 2.1 second bomb that heroes like Mark Donohue strapped themselves to in period. It is truly one of the most exceptional racing cars ever developed by Porsche, and it most recently sold for $3 million US. That's what makes it our top 5. Now we go on to top 4. There's one car in our top 5 that doesn't have to rationalize its $5 million price tag. It's this, the 1956 Porsche 550A Spider. There's a reason they call it the Giant Killer. 1.5 liter diminutive engine with only 135 horsepower, developed as the first Porsche that was purposely built for racing. There was not a road car envisioned, even though James Dean made it quite popular. It was almost immediately victorious, winning its 1956 Targa Florio entrance outright against cars with 2 or 3 times the power. It was the David to the Goliath of the era, and that was what makes it our number 4. Now let's look at number 3. The year was 1997. The race was Le Mans. Porsche had been asked to create 20 homologation specials to compete in the FIA GT1 class, and this is the result of their efforts. Developed at Weissach, 600 horsepower, twin-turbo, water-cooled, 996-based engine. It's actually the same size engine as my car, but it puts out about 3 times the horsepower. It is, to me, the sexiest, coolest, most beautiful, elongated race car that you can legally drive on the road. And that is why the Strassen version is widely considered one of 20 to be not just the rarest, but one of the most desirable. And just recently, one sold at auction for $5.6 million US, a 1998 version. There's nothing like being able to drive a Le Mans road car on the street. And that is why the Strassen version is my personal favorite. But now we go on to number 2. In 1983, chassis number 003 of the 956 Group C racing car won overall at Le Mans. It was driven by guys like Derek Bell, Al Holbert, Jackie Ickx, legends of the racing world. And it was one of the most victorious racing cars, not just by Porsche, but by any company ever. It was one of the first race cars ever to use ground effect styling, which kept it stuck to the ground as it went around corners at great speed. It had this fire-breathing engine that when you downshifted, shot massive flames out. It's what made Group C racing a spectacle to watch and defined the 1980s era of racing driving. It's what makes it our number 2, which is why it's also worth about $10 million US. It's a spectacular car. Now let's look at number 1. This is our number 1, the 917K. Master of Le Mans, Golf liveried, made popular by Steve McQueen in the film Le Mans. It is one of the most iconic racing cars in history. Racing driver Derek Bell was offered one of these after his racing season with Porsche for £5,000. At a time when a house cost about £7,000. He famously told me, if I came home with a racing car and a newborn baby, I would have been divorced in a week and a half. Unfortunately for him, it is now worth $14 million US, and it is one of the most exceptional racing cars in history. Porsche engineer Hans Metzger developed the company's first V12. Not a flat 12 as commonly misconstrued, which delivered unrivaled power, reliability, and just an insane amount of torque delivered to these massive wheels at 630 brake horsepower. Its slippery aerodynamic body paired with that massive engine is what allowed it to go over 220 miles an hour in the Mulsanne Straight at Le Mans. It is, to me, one of the greatest racing cars of all time. It's been a great pleasure sharing the world's 5 most valuable Porsches with you. For now, though, I have to head off, and the most valuable Porsche to me is this one right here. See you guys next time.
Thank you very much, Ted. And for next week, we have another highlight for you, when we are going to settle the question of all questions. Stay tuned, as it's going to be fast.